Hello, today in my Skype, a great person, artist, painter, um, my friend, and simply wonderful person, Mykol Blackwell. So, Mykol, please tell us um, what kind of activities do you do? What kind of business? Tell us about your art and what you do in life.
Okay, I've been a freelance artist for as long as I can remember, with starting back even way before the computer existed, with back then with clients all over the country. However, since the age of the computer, it's been great because I've been able to work with people all over the world. And I'm pretty much a painter, an illustrator, a sculptor, you name it. If you can imagine it, I can bring it to life. Whether it's two-dimensional, three-dimensional, whether it's I've done coloring books, I've done paintings, I've done posters for events.
Experience.
Yes, as my grandfather used to say, jack of all trades, master of a few.
Okay, good. Maybe you want to show us something, if you have something about your art?
Sure. This is a design from a line of t-shirts that I developed when I was living in California. They are all based on my love of pin-up art, which my uncle was a tail gunner in a B-24 during World War II, and he got asked to paint the nose art on the plane of his crew, and the next thing he knew, planes were coming from all over the South Pacific to have him paint their noses of their planes. And so when I was a little kid, just a little budding artist, he took me into his studio and said, I have something to show you. I just got permission from your father. And so I'm like, ooh, permission from my father. This is going to be good. And so into his studio we went, and he brought down this ancient-looking portfolio and opened it up, and it was one painting after another of planes that he had painted the pinup girls on the noses. And so basically I've loved, that has been one of the genres of art I've loved since I was a kid, and that's where this came from. I've always wanted to do my own, and so when I was living in California, I started doing them to sort of represent the area that I was living in at the time, in the redwoods right next to the Pacific Ocean. However, the art that is from my soul and heart and subconscious and conscious is what I would call my totem soul paintings, and it's a series of oil paintings which sort of evolved from my love of nature and a mythology that grew out of my head. And they are sort of half human, half bird, set in landscapes of Northern California.
They creating in your mind, just simply in your mind, and by knowledge which you have, just like this is going?
Yeah, yes, and also my love of mythology and storytelling and trying to bring people into that world to give them more of an appreciation for the natural world.
Mm-hmm. So you must be thankful to your father. I see it's coming from him.
Yes, indeed.
Started. Sure. Also, I have a wonderful t-shirt from you, Mykol. It's cool. Okay, show us. It will be great.
Okay.
I want to see it.
Okay. Let's start with this one back here.
Okay, wait. We're waiting for Zoom. Maybe a little bit, little back. Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get closer.
Oh, it's better, coming better. Yes, I see. Wonderful, it's great.
And this one, the inspiration for this came, I was driving home one day, and ahead, up in the sky, I saw a swirling mass of black, and as I approached, I realized it was a huge circle of ravens, and I pulled over and started to count them, and there were 88 of them, and I was like, oh my god, a double infinity kind of thing, and I realized it was, there was some purpose to this, and it seemed to be like an aerial ritual mating dance that they were involved in. The males were tugging at the tail feathers of the females, and they would sort of pair off, and once they paired off, they would disappear into the trees. And so this one is called Obsidian Circle.
Amazing, really amazing. It's beautiful.
And this one here is called the Great Horned Owl Man, and I took Rodin's sculpture of the Thinker and put him in a huge redwood overlooking the forest and the ocean way off in the background. And it's funny because I gave a set of these cards to a friend at work the other day, and her little tiny daughter was with her, and she said, "Ooh, look, Mama, he's the Thinker."
You see, she knows him.
Yeah, even a little girl knows the Thinker, and the owls are supposed to be wise.
Great.
And this one is called Osprey Man, and he also is up in a tree with a salmon draped over the branch beside him, and then off in the background we see the Pacific Ocean. And all of these are very true to the landscape of Northern California where I lived at during the time I was painting these. And this was actually the first one, and it's the only one out of the series that I've actually sold the original painting of. The rest I've sold giclée prints, dozens and dozens and dozens of them to
Really?
clients all over the world. Yes.
Great.
And this one
Oh, I love it.
is called Eagle Man, and there again I used Michelangelo's David, the statue, for the body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of a I don't think I developed that technique. However, it subconsciously, viewers are familiar with the figure, so it sort of pulls them into the painting immediately, like they are familiar with it but not familiar with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so they are familiar with it, and so they're in it before they know it, and then they start seeing the detail, and all I ever hear is, "Ooh, look at the fish, oh my god, look, there's a face on the cliff, oh, look at the redwoods, look at the surf, look at the clouds." And one thing that people always say is, look at the detail.
Yeah, it's true.
Like every little pebble, every little stone, every little ripple in the water.
Yes, everything really, everything just so detailized, and every part, every centimeter of your paintings is really perfect. Yet you just, and me, I saw and I'm looking for details. It's so amazing, really wonderful, amazing work. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. This one's called Spotted Owl Buddha, and this was inspired by the shape that he's sort of meditating in front of is called a tetrahedron, and it's an ancient geological shape which is two three-dimensional triangles sort of morphed together, and it's floating in the air in front of him. And he, in my mind, is in the lotus position meditating on this stump. And what inspired that was down the river from where I lived at the time, there was a grove of redwoods that had been cut maybe 50 years earlier, and from each of the stumps grew many more babies. So it just sort of symbolized for me the continuation of life and nature, and you just can't hurt Mother Nature no matter what you do.
How much it cost?
What?
How much it cost, this original painting?
Oh, the original paintings, I have them priced so highly that no one can afford them. That's why I still have them.
No, last one. How much it cost? Tell us.
I kind of go by how long it took me. Like, for example, the Spotted Owl Buddha took 4 months to paint, and so I would have to ask $4,000 to get paid for my time, and that's strictly just for my time, not anything else, which is, a big reason why
not only for your time. You're amazing. It's just for talent. I'm sure it's for talent. Oh, I love it. I so much would love to buy it. Maybe someday I will be a cool artist, businessman, and I will buy it. For sure.
Okay.
I love it.
But Eagle Man, for example, took 6 months, and so I would ask 6,000, which is a huge reason that I developed them on greeting cards and also giclée prints, because it made it so that affordable to the masses, if you will.
Yes, sure, I understand. There are many people which understand art usually do not have so much money, but usually people which have money not so much understand artists. Truly, I think it's true for life. Okay,
that's for sure.
It's great excursion. Tell me, how much time did you spend to develop your business, and did you have some difficulties on your way to the result, maybe something like this?
Constantly. Yeah, it's always been like, thank God for this technology, because there's an old saying or cliche here called having your shingle out to the world, which means having a sign out in front of your storefront or gallery. And I've had, as I saw on your bio, lots and lots and lots of exhibits and shows in galleries up and down the coast of California, and even here in Massachusetts before I moved away. However, never had my own gallery, and it had always been word of mouth, passing out business cards at exhibits, etc. However, with the computer and the age of technology and being able to be worldwide, I think it's going to be nothing but good, because we're everywhere now. Whereas it used to just be, oh yes, here I am in my little town, everybody around here knows me, everybody around here loves my work, but that's it. Whereas now whenever I finish a creation, whether it's a painting or a sculpture or a custom horse or figure or whatever I'm doing at the time, I can put it online and people gobble it up. Like, for example, here's a great example. Years ago, I don't know if you saw those Indian figures back there, but when I was a child, I collected a line of toys called Johnny West. They are little 1 foot tall action figures, and they are the cowboys and Indians, okay? And years ago, and my sister and I, when we were little, had the entire collection by the time we were, 8 and 10. And years ago, I got her the covered wagon with the horse and the mother and the 2 daughters for her 45th birthday. She loved it. It's all I heard about every time I talked to her. Long story short, I said, well, why should she have all the fun? So I started getting these figures, fixing them up, but wanting to do it my way, I painted a backdrop diorama and built a little sheriff's office and put it online. And the next thing I know, people were coming out of the woodwork, as they say, asking me to build a sheriff's office or a saloon. And at this point in time, I've built close to 250 little Old West buildings and sold them to clients. Yeah, I've like a small city.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Could we see something, or you do not have it now? No?
Yeah, they are down in my shop downstairs, but here, those are the figures, the Native Americans over there, and that wagon is a custom wagon from the film Django Unchained, where the little tooth bobbling on the top, and That was the bounty hunter's wagon in that film. So I did a 1/6 scale reproduction of it. And those are the Native American figures next to it that I've customized. And I've been doing really well with those on eBay and other places online because there's so many groups on, for example, on social media such as Facebook, where whenever I finish a creation, whether it's a custom painted horse or a custom figure, I'll put it on Facebook saying, okay, I'm going to be putting this on eBay in a few days. And very often before I even get the chance to put it on eBay, someone will message me and say, I'll buy it. So it all works out well.
I see. Okay. So, for what dreams you run your business?
Just pretty much to share the way as far as the art goes, pretty much to share the way I see the world I live in with the people, and to try to bring them and give them appreciation for Mother Nature and this planet, this beautiful planet we live on, because I think as civilized people, we've just been pulled away from nature for so long.
Yeah, so good understand you in this. Yeah, it's great, really. Thank you. You didn't tell us, maybe you had some disappointments by this time, and how you cope with them. It's interesting because for us we are only started, so sometimes we have it and we can go through our way. So maybe you will tell us something.
I would say once you've made the decision to take that step, just don't ever look back and say, I should have done this or I should have done that. Once you've taken that, it's like stepping stones. You can't go back. You just have to keep moving forward and accept, downfalls with the victories with the defeats, and just take the defeats with a grain of salt and just keep moving forward. And because there's a man called Joseph Campbell who very much inspired me when I discovered him in my 20s, who said, follow your bliss. And so for me, it's doing what you love and just staying on that path no matter what.
Yeah, that's great. Just before this phrase, I wanted to say that it's easier to say than do it, really, because
yes, indeed.
After this, I think he give you a good advice, and really, so you must be strong. But if you are not, not so strong, and anyway, you know that it's your way, you're trying, but you have some problems. Not always you have this strength. Sometimes we have some disappointments, and maybe you could think that maybe I'm not so good, maybe I can't this or something like this. How? Not everybody can do, and that's all.
Exactly. One inspirational part of it all was wanting to show my sons. I have two sons. They're now 24 and 26. I wanted to show them that you didn't have to follow the path that everyone else does, that you can do it your way, like the Frank Sinatra song, I did it my way, right? So I wanted to show them that you don't have to get in line and be part of what everyone else does. especially, I mean, both of them are very talented, and I've stressed do your own thing with them all their life growing up, and it's
Yeah,
working.
it's great motivation. Yeah, need to to have few sons, maybe it will work. That's for sure. Okay, thank you. Tell us, please, do you work in or worked with remote employers?
For the most part, with remote uh, partners, it has been me working with them. However, on a handful of occasions, it has been them helping me, and it's always been very interesting and very much a learning experience. But it has always turned out great.
That's good, great. Uh, what kind of works do they do for you?
Some have been models, some have been translators, so that I can get like for example the children's stories that I've written and illustrated. I've had a few friends help from around the world get them translated into Spanish and in French, and maybe someday into Russian.
Russia? Yeah, I would love to. Okay, it's a great idea. If you think about this, I will remind you.
But like I said, I'm sorry, go ahead. For the most part, it has always been a good experience learning on my end and on their end.
Great. So you are lucky in this, because not everybody could say it.
Yes, very much.
Great. How do you choose them? You see, people, and you never know who are at another side. Never know.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, with the people that I've worked for, they've approached me. However, the people that I've worked with that have sort of been helping me, it's sort of a roll of the dice. I found them online, watched their career develop, and said, oh, I could use this person to help me with this, and mention it to them, and they get a big smile on their face and say, oh yeah, that would be great, let's do that.
Okay, so I could say that you learned them before, yes? Just a little
bit. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Good, cool. Do you think, no, but yeah, you didn't have bad experiences, great. You must have a good karma, I think, because many people are saying that they had problems.
Well, one thing that I keep in mind with dealing with people all over the world, as far as karma goes, there's a pin that I have that says, my karma ran over my dogma. And so I try to keep that in mind as far as not trying to put my thoughts or feelings or beliefs on the other person and just let them free flow with it. And I've found that is always the best way to go, is let them just freestyle and then use what the input they have.
I see. So you do not you do not wait in much of them. You understand that it can be a different way, but
yeah, it's like a two-way street, you know. It's not just my way.
You're accepting that it
we're working
but you didn't have it.
Right. Cool. Working together.
Great, great. So the question, if you could you hire nowadays a good remote employers? I think yes, yes, and yes. Yes, I understand. Okay. Do you want to say us something else for people which only started? We understand that we need to go by our way. uh, think about this, but maybe you have something want to say to people which only starting their path, or
I would say just, like I said earlier, once you've taken that first step, don't look back, and never, ever, ever give up. And it's a total belief in your talent, yourself, your being, your spirit. Just keep moving forward, no matter what. I've had a handful of people in my life who have said, "Oh, you need not to do this anymore. You need to do this instead of that." And I just kind of giggle to myself and say, "Okay, that's not going to happen." Yeah,
great,
see
great.
ya.
I like it. I like it really. So one more thing.
Okay.
Seems you are happy.
Oh yeah. Even though I'm thousands of miles away from my sons in California because I moved back here to help with my father whose health is ailing, I've got a little studio set up across the hall. I've got a workshop downstairs to do my other work, and as long as I can keep creating and keep that flow going, then I'm good.
Great, great. Mykol, thank you. It was just amazing. Really, I loved your work, and I think people which will be looking us, they will really like it. And thank you for advice and the words which you say. Great. Never give up.
You're
It's
so welcome.
wonderful. Thank you.
You're
It
so
was
welcome.
great.
I absolutely love your work too, and so that's part of it.
We're cool.
Yeah, I think we're very much kindred spirits on the level, especially with our painting.
Thank you. Okay, at this note we will end. Thank you, Mykol. It was a great time. So I want to say bye-bye, and I hope that soon I will see you again. Maybe next interview. Never know.
Okay. Yeah, when I
Bye.
launch my site, I'll interview you.
Oh, great idea. Okay, thank you, Mykol.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.